Today on the show, we're talking about the next big app to revolutionize an industry. Today's show is sponsored by the book For You, From Me by Raj Daniels. If you don't know Raj, make sure you check out his interviews on this show I did for episodes 1 and 2. The book, it's a daily dose of focus. This is not motivation by any means. That's fleeting. Raj's book is a perfect blend of the practical and the inspiring. A clear vision of how you should be approaching life, presented in a way that is simple to take action on. This is how I start my mornings, with a quick lesson from Raj's book. It shifts my mind and anchors in an often new perspective for my day. And that's so important, because it's not what happens to us throughout the day, but how we interpret what happens and how we choose to respond. Having more choices in how we craft those responses is incredibly powerful. So head over to Amazon and grab your copy today. Real quick, before we get started, if you're here watching or listening, you've got some tie to this beautiful world of business of ours. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, consultant, or a sales or marketing pro looking to network and get in front of more prospects. Maybe you're building your personal brand from inside the corporation you work for. Or maybe you have a cause that you're passionate about and want to spread the word. Video can help with all of these. We hear that a lot, but it's a big leap from knowing you should be doing it and understanding how. From knowing what to say to making sure you remain credible in the process. Let me help you with this. I've been creating great content for people just like you for 26 years now. I'll help you figure out the type of videos you need and what to say in order to get your message across, and what you can do yourself and what you need help with. But getting your videos created is only half of it. How do you get them seen? I can help you optimize your videos to get found in search and develop a detailed strategy to get your videos in front of your target audience, helping sell to the prospect before they ever meet you. Head over to croft.media. From there, you can reach out to me for a free strategy session. I look forward to connecting with you. How's it going, everybody? Jason Croft here, the credibility craftsman, and wow is all I can say. So you always see me doing these intros and outros, and I'm usually kind of like, hyped up while I'm doing them because I've just finished an interview, and today is no different. Dr. Tye and Courtney Caldwell are on the show, and their company ShearShare is absolutely changing the game in the salon beauty industry. I mean, it's monumental, and I'm not about to jump in and try to describe it and everything, but it's an amazing platform for stylists to rent space all around, and that's the most simplistic version of this. But their story of coming together, finding a need first, fulfilling that need, and then digging deep for a few years before they ever launched a product. Great. Those are just some amazing lessons for all of us on our entrepreneurial journeys on the importance of understanding your market and then going and serving that market. And then everything flows from there. Just an amazing couple with an incredible platform here. And it's going to be one of those companies that get thrown around a lot in entrepreneurial discussions and business discussions all the time. Like Airbnb, like Uber, not just as a comparison, but one of these huge platforms that are going to be out there. These two are not only pioneers in their industry, but they are pioneers on the Jason Croft Show as well. My first two-person interview. And without further ado, let's jump in. Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, Jason.
This is so fantastic. Dr. Tye and Courtney Caldwell.
That's right.
Thank you for having us.
I know.
Oh,
so glad we can make this work.
So, yes, this has been a while coming. Had the honor to interview you both for Dallas New Tech.
Absolutely.
So much fun. And I knew I wanted to, that night, I mean, we talked about it that night, because I knew I wanted to dig into your story even more.
Yeah.
As we go here with ShearShare.
Absolutely.
So give it a brief overview on that and what it is, and then we're gonna dig in a whole bunch.
Well, ShearShare is the first, again, B2B app that allows salon owners who have empty space to rent out that empty space to licensed beauty barber professionals by the day.
Mm-hmm. It's never happened before. I know. Can you imagine? So now stylists anywhere around the world can rent workspace by the day with no long-term commitment in cities all across the nation and the world.
And give me the use case in that. Because I get it conceptually, but what's
why is there a value to the stylist?
Right,
of course. No, so stylists typically have to sign a long-term contract. So just like you go in and rent an apartment or you rent office space, you have to sign on for X number of months or even years. So you're locked in and with a long-term commitment. But this way with ShearShare, that disappears.
Yes, and let me break it down to you. You have essentially three to four ways you work in salon and barbershop space that has been around for years. So you have commission-based salons, you have employee-based salons, which essentially are commission as well. You have booth rental that's been around since the early 1900s, probably started with 1916. Madam C.J. Walker started that. And now since the boom and tsunami of salon suites, now they have another option, but that's also essentially booth rental, where they have their own little box of space that kind of looks like a mini salon suite, and they call it a mini salon suite business for those who choose to have a space and just have themselves enclosed in an environment that is just their own.
Right, it's still a long-term.
Still long-term contract.
Long-term contract.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's also sort of a traveling component to this too. If you want to be on the road doing what you do, right?
Yes. So they have this law outside of Pennsylvania and New Jersey where you can it's reciprocated, where you can cross the state lines, and we essentially have shows now where people just get into this big auditorium and everybody from all over the nation, all over the world are doing hair, and it's an event, so you can actually travel, and it's considered an event case to where you can go to a salon and utilize your services there. Nothing long term, it's just temporary.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that aspect of it, like being allowed to do that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you
That's so
should think about the
interesting.
celebrity stylists. They travel all the time, right?
Right.
Think about folks who travel in for destination weddings, or people who travel for, quinceañeras, just event based. As long as they are working temporarily, they can use the ShearShare app and cross state lines.
You have celebrities, athletes.
But I will say, sorry, babe. But I will say that the majority of stylists, 90% of those who use our app, usually stay in their city and just go to various parts of the city, right? So maybe Cedar Hill to Allen to Garland to Irving, or you'll see people hop around from Dallas to San Antonio to Austin to Houston and San Marcos, etc.
And I really like that scenario. I think we talked about it that night a little bit of, you can really you expand your client base.
Oh, yes.
Because, you're not going to have somebody travel from Cedar Hill all the way up to Frisco, but you can go to them and expand that base.
That's funny you say that, because that's how ShearShare started.
That's how ShearShare started.
Totally.
The young lady who first did this in 2012, she had moved to Cedar Hill, and she wanted to come back to Plano because she was moving. She had got married, and she wanted to make sure she took care of her 15 to 20 clients every other week.
Yeah, and she knew that they weren't going to make that drive, right? I mean, it's an hour in the car. You're thinking about, oh my gosh, I got to pick up kids from school, and I got to get dinner on the table.
They may like her, but
Not that much. Exactly.
Not that much.
Exactly. And so she said, hey, Tye, I've heard about your salon. I know you guys are an award-winning salon. I just need space on, like a Friday, Saturday?
Yeah.
Like a Friday, Saturday. I know we kind of don't do that, but I'm desperate because I can't lose these clients. So can you help me? And he said yes.
And it creates flexibility. It creates efficiency, where the client now doesn't have to lose their clientele. They can actually go where their clients are, and it doesn't matter who the client is. It could be an older, elderly person. It could be the soccer mom. It could also be the youth that are playing sports. Now you can get to them and allow them to not have to travel across the city dealing with traffic and time. Everybody's time management now is really on point. So we want to make sure that we create that efficiency for them.
That's fantastic. So I love the concept. I love the product and stuff, but I mean, I think I love even more the story and the evolution of this from a business side of things.
Okay.
It's just fantastic. So let's go back. There's so many layers I want to go through, both
let's
and how we came in there.
them
But let's go back. I think this is a good segue into that first, her calling you up and saying, hey, I need help like that. How did that start off? Because it certainly didn't start as an app and a product and all
No,
Not at all.
You want to share? You want me to share?
Sure, I'll go. So I remember when Tye came home that night and he said, "Babe, I got the strangest phone call." And I was like, "Well, we always get strange phone calls in the industry. You know what's the phone call of the day?" And he said, "Well, this lady called and she needs space to work like for a couple of days. You know, we just filled out, our extra suites. No one's in there right now. What do you think?" And I said, "Well, it's just collecting dust right now." He's like, "You're right. I'm gonna go ahead and try it." And so he did. He loved the experience so much. She loved the experience so much that she called him back and said, "I really like that. My clients really enjoyed it. I love that I didn't have to be a kitchen-tician," which is, that in our world, that just means that you are a stylist who works out of the kitchen, someone's home. And she loved the fact that she had access to professional salon space for her clients. And her clients loved it too. Not just for privacy, but sanitary reasons, etc.
Oh, yeah.
And so she said, "I have to go to Houston and Austin," I think it was San Marcos, in a couple of months. "Can you find for me hosts that'll do what you did for me in Dallas in those cities?" And Tye said, "Well, okay, sure, whatever, I can do that." Now, mind you,
Well, first thing I asked her was, "Why did you choose me?"
Yeah, true, that's
So-
true. But mind you, Tye he's working on his doctorate in professional barbering. He's finishing up his best-selling book. He's touring around to different schools talking about, the business behind the chair. And so I was like, "Babe, are you sure you're going to have time for this?" And thank goodness that he made time for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And so at this point, though, too, now it's still more just a favor.
Yeah,
right?
It's just a favor.
yeah. Complete favor.
But I guess the thing about this, we're gonna keep jumping back and forth with each other.
Go ahead.
She called me back and she said that she had some friends that wanted me to do what I did for her for them.
Just kept
You're like,
growing.
well, okay, wait a second.
So now there's layers to this thing now. So I have makeup artists calling me because they want to do weddings and they didn't want to have to do them at hotels. They actually wanted to rent out the whole salon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for
So-
VIP events, destination weddings.
Oh, that's genius.
Yep, so smart.
So it became a thing where it was a part-time job for both of us.
Yes.
And we were just getting a little of nothing but time put on top of the layers of time we didn't even have already. So, it was fun. We were glad that we were able to help them. But it came a point where, it just became too much.
Sure.
And
3
so,
years.
yeah, 3 years.
We did that, right?
3 years.
Just as a favor thing, or like a little bit here and there?
No, as a favorite
As
thing.
a favorite thing.
3
We made a little
years.
cut in
Yes.
there, but it was a favorite thing,
Hey,
really.
better people than I am. I don't know if I go 3 years. But
But you know what? We say that we're quick learners, but oh my gosh, you would think like maybe after year 1 we would have said, "Wait a minute, there's got to be like an app for this." But we were just busy, pouring back in our community, and we just thought, hey, they heard about us from, Sally or Courtney or Tye, and so we're just going to help them, just like we helped the first stylist.
Because it was really easy. It was really easy
Yeah.
because going back to what I was saying earlier, I said, "Why did you choose me?" She was like, "Well, you're a salon owner. If I call the salon, they're going to hang up on me because they just think I'm some random person calling that's trying to get the space." She said, "You've had the experience with me." And she said, on the other side of that, you're in the profession. You're a barber cosmetologist. And so now you can speak my language and their language. So essentially you can represent me. And that's kind of how it started. So I was calling each salon. Every one of them said yes. They wanted to know, I guess, how I went about doing it with the prices. Were they professional? What did I charge? And so now we're starting to kind of think about this thing the way apps are, the way you would think about driving an Uber. So we had to kind of create different type of thought processes to how they wanted to work. So trying to find out the space professional, where they're located, did they have shampoo bowls, were they suites or were they stations?
Oh, yeah.
Just different little things and nuances that we need when we rent our space.
That
But
was
it
the
gets-
value.
And it gets complicated really quickly.
Very
Right?
quick.
When you
It
get into
can.
all of those
Oh
things.
my goodness!
Mhm.
Because the stylists, what we're learning is that when they're choosing space to work on the ShearShare app, they are hyper focused on the experience for that particular client.
Yes.
So, for example, they may know that Jason likes a sports environment, right? So they're going to look for a sporty barbershop on the app. They may have a couple of clients on a Wednesday who are ladies who lunch, and so they may prefer a more luxurious salon setting. So they are literally picking and choosing salon spaces by the day where each individual client is going to get the maximum experience.
Oh, that's great.
I know. I love it.
That's fantastic. So when did it click? When did it go like, okay, there's a business here?
Yeah.
When we search for the app.
Well, we got home. I said, we're just tired. We just doing too much.
Yeah.
We're in this time now where social media apps are coming on really big. So I was like, Courtney, we got to find something to push these people over to. And she said, well, go on to Google and see if you can.
Because there's got to be something.
There's got to
Yes,
be.
gotta be
Yeah.
something.
It's like
So
you
we're
can find an app for anything.
exactly. So we're hitting all types of search terms, and Nothing was popping up. Furniture stores.
And how long ago was this?
This was
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And nothing came up. And so she looked. I said, okay, well, you're just as much in marketing and tech as anybody. So you look and you search terms that probably I didn't say. Nothing came up again. And so we looked at each other and said, how would it be if we built it ourselves?
That was the aha moment.
That was the aha moment.
Because you saw the value there. You saw because over those 3 years, there was definitely I mean, it was just
Absolutely.
people wanting this.
So we didn't want to market it because we had limited time. So we was like, okay, well, let's see how valuable it is, and then we can talk about marketing later.
Yeah.
So there was a friend of hers that she knew out in Silicon Valley that there was a relationship she met one time. I didn't get a chance to go to the lunch because I was busy, but she did, and I remember seeing her, and I told her, I said, you know what? Call that young lady that you went to lunch with that time. She said, babe. That's her thing for me. Babe, that's great. She called her up.
Wait, but the reason why we called her is because she said one word to us that stuck in our memory.
I forgot about that.
She used the word startup. We had never heard of that word before. And so that's why Tye said, call her, because she said startup. And I said, oh, okay, that's random. Let's just call her and see what she thinks.
Called her up, and I said, you know what? I have this idea. I just want to run it by you so it can kind of get off my mind. I don't want to have to make sure. I want to make sure that it's something that we can kind of let go or continue to utilize just for the friends we have. And I said, it's just an idea. So I ran the idea by her, and she was like, for about 15 seconds, the phone conversation went dormant. I said, we're just...
We thought she dropped the phone.
I said, hello.
Call ended.
She said, I'm sorry, guys. I literally put my phone down and my head almost hit the ceiling because this is a $1 billion idea.
Now, why this is important is because this lady cannot walk from her car to the grocery store without getting pitched. All the time. She gets pitches all the time.
This is her world.
Oh, yeah, she lives and breathes it. And she was talking about this word startup, years before we even thought about ShearShare. Yeah. So we knew if we could talk to her, and if she said, okay, that's valuable, then we knew we had to do whatever it took to build it out.
So now, being that we're not technology savvy like that, other than using our phone for social media, we asked her how did we first get started. So she turned us on to a friend of hers that she knew that had a product design to help us with our rudimentary form.
Yeah, MVP.
Yeah, MVP. And that's how it all started.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so how did you get roped in? Because his world and this background stuff, and then...
Well, the wife is always there because when you are an entrepreneur, and I always say my husband is the most unemployable person that I know. He can, I don't know if he could ever work for anyone. Wow. He's been this way since 19.
That's going to be a tight competition between you and I.
And so I've always been kind of roped in, even in the very first phone call where the gal from Cedar Hill said, I need space to work on like a Friday. And so because we've been running the salon together, I help manage, some of the ordering, vendor relationships, hiring, etc. I've just been in the background.
Yeah.
But I knew you had a corporate background and you had your career and you were going...
So he's busy at school running the salon, hiring people, doing his thing in beauty and barbering, and I'm working at Oracle. I was leading digital demand generation, marketing strategy and innovation across 5 continents. And so when we looked up finally and said, okay, it's been 3 years and this is not slowing down. Like, where's the app that does this so we can kind of push off the next person who calls us? And we couldn't find it. We said, oh gosh, this is something that we have to do. I know that no matter what I do in my career, I'm going to be doing something related to marketing and operations and connecting. Right?
Master marketer, must I say.
Oh, thanks, babe. And no matter what, he's going to be in beauty and barbering. Like, that's just like a fiber that resides in both of us. And so this is literally like the perfect marriage. Like, we couldn't have thought about this, years ago.
And if you think about it, all of my expertise and my understanding, nothing that we do outside of ShearShare is anything different. My book is about the beauty industry, Mentor by Failure. I run a salon. I train, I teach, I mentor, I instruct. And so why not build something for the industry that I love so much and have passion for? And ShearShare was, like Courtney said, the perfect storm of wanting to see people not only have flexibility and not only create jobs, but give people opportunity to, make money. That's what we're in it for anyways. Make money and maximize earnings potential. That's the way we use it.
That's fantastic. And so you went out there, you found the tech side of things and help. And what was that process like?
Now looking,
Easy and smooth.
Well, we don't have anything to compare it to, but we will say that because we trusted the individual who said, I'm going to parlay this introduction to you, we feel like it was pretty smooth. From the point when we first had our first conversation, we felt very comfortable with this team, these gentlemen. We felt that because we trusted that person who said, yes, you need to go in this direction. We said, okay, well, we trust this person now too. And that process was pretty seamless. Tye then took out a Chipotle napkin because, Jason, we are bootstrapping ShearShare. Right, we didn't know about, accelerator programs and that people called angels would give you money to build your dream, and venture capitalists. What is that? Right. We just knew we had to build it. And so we emptied our bank account and said, what is it that we need to do? So that was step one.
So essentially there was no fear for me because being an entrepreneur, you always taking risks. So risk.
He's always jumping off of some building. And I'm like, baby, should we like measure twice and cut once? He's like, no, just hold my hand.
I can't hear you. Yeah. I can't hear you. We're already falling.
I can't hear you.
Right, but then we're bootstrapping and we're just living life, very meagerly, and we're going to Chipotle a lot because we're living off of rice and beans, and so we started drawing out the screens of the ShearShare app on a Chipotle napkin, which we still have today, and so that was step 2, and then step 3 was showing this third-party tech firm, our Chipotle napkin renderings, and talking them through the way a stylist thinks, talking them through the way a salon owner thinks. And honestly, thank goodness for those 3 years that we had of manually matching, because all that data that we took that and it informed the process of what the app needed to look like and what questions we needed to ask and
how to sit up in front of engineers.
Oh gosh,
to help them understand what we're building.
Because there's no way someone could just, even if somebody happened to have this idea, could sit there, could possibly know all those
years of the data. The industry, and plus, if you're not in the industry, it's really difficult to understand the mind, of this individual. A stylist is a very creative person. A stylist is, creating beauty every single day. When someone sits in his or her chair, they get up feeling like $1 million. So we impact people in a different way. And so if you don't have that nuanced way of thinking, it's going to be difficult. Even if you try to just copy and paste ShearShare, there are a lot of different levels that people wouldn't consider just because they don't live, eat, and breathe it every day.
Yeah, and also add that to an industry that's so archaic. We thought that when Uber came out, they just changed the game of traveling and of the way cab services work. And then when Airbnb came out, they changed the way hotelier works and giving people a place to stay when they travel, even within the same city. So when we started this, it wasn't going to be as easy because it's not just consumer. We're talking about licensed professionals, not customers, B2B, and B2B. So we have to change a whole mindset from people who don't have to sit. When we're working, we're not sitting there with a laptop on our station, or we're not sitting there working with our phones. We're actually using the artistic qualities that we already have inside of us to work with our clients. So it wasn't going to be an easy task to show these people something different. It's more like putting one foot in front of the other a little bit at a time, so making sure they understand what we do and how we can help them going forward in a very efficient way.
And how have you gone about that? Like getting in front and educating everybody.
Yes, getting in front and educating.
Well, my husband's an educator. He's a licensed educator, and so that helps. The fact that he, spent 2 decades mentoring the up-and-coming generation of salon owners, that helps. Yeah. The fact that he, speaks and did this before ShearShare, speaks to audiences around the country. Oh yeah, already. Yeah, and so when you say Dr. Tye Caldwell, people say, oh, I remember I heard him here. Let me see what he's talking about now. And so, that's been very helpful.
And then when you have a book, it makes it a little bit more easy because people now see that you're legit, you know what you're talking about. So now they trust you. Because like I said, you put a stylist in one same room as a barber, as the same room as a makeup artist, same room as a masseuse. We speak different languages, but we work in the same genre of artistic value. So we just want to make sure that people understand that we now have a platform just for us.
Oh, that's great. That's so fantastic. So I want to dig in too. Like, how is it being husband and wife? And working together, and there's...
That's crazy. Whenever we get that question, Jason, I'm always thinking like, Why are there not more husband and wife teams?
Sure, I can see both sides.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
I can, but it's so funny to me that when sometimes you may sit in front of an investor and they say, "Oh, we're not really sure about married couples. We don't really want to put all of our eggs in one basket because what if something happens and you guys split? What does that do to the company?" Now I get that,
but then they say, I have to say this. Yeah. We need a team. They got to understand that they're going to be working together. They're like a married couple.
Right. That the co-founders like married couples. Right. Everyone. I'm like okay. Is this a joke?
Right.
You want the co-founders to be like a married couple, but hence they can't be married
because they don't want single founders.
No, that's hard. Teams. It's a lot of work for one person. Yeah. So, no, it's for us. It's the best. I mean, we come to the table with a few things. For one, we are not the 20-year-old graduate from SMU or Stanford or Harvard, whatever. We're a little bit longer in the tooth. Tye is, can I say your age? Yeah. He's 44. I'm not going to share my age. Oh, awesome. Well, you guys can have that.
To the 44.
And so we've been doing this for a little bit, right?
And we look good.
And you guys look fantastic.
Somebody thought I was 30 the other day. I was like, okay.
I love this man. That's okay. I keep you young, babe.
Yes, you do.
Yes. And so we've had a lot of time, though, Jason, to kind of work through when you have an issue or disagreement, what happens? When you don't see eye to eye on something, what happens? When you guys have a big goal that you're trying to accomplish, what happens? And so Tye and I bring to the table exactly that. So when stuff happens in ShearShare or within the family, within the marriage, we know how to settle it.
Yeah, failure and failure is not. People say failure is not an option. Failure is always an option, but it's how you deal with it. So we don't look at failure as something that really bothers us because we know that it's just something that happened. It was a hiccup. We're gonna figure it out, make it better next time.
Learn from it. Yeah.
You fail every day.
And you have so much more invested.
Oh yeah. Oh,
than two people who have come together for this business idea. No. There's so much more incentive to make it work, and and just like you said, having those tools in that relationship to make it work, to go through. Yeah,
and we really are a married couple because I hear so many married couples that say they married but they have separate bank accounts. We don't have separate bank accounts. Everything is all in. We're all in this thing. So it works from both sides. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that you're two individuals first. But we really got each other's best. We got each other's back, and we got each other's best intentions as we go forward.
Oh, that's good, babe. That's true because you hear from other startup founders, and we're of course friends with many of them. Sometimes there's a trust factor, right? And so like, oh, I feel like I'm doing more of the work, but I'm only getting 10% less in equity of the company, or I feel like this person is taking a few extra days vacation time. But we never have that issue when it comes to feeling like one person owns more than the other, one person is not pulling his or her weight. We're in this thing together.
We didn't even argue about where we was going to sit today.
We sure didn't. I knew I was sitting back here, and I knew one of my husbands was sitting in the front.
Like I said, that's between. I was like, all right, you sit in the back seat. All right.
I wanted the ShearShare to be front and center. So.
That's right. That's perfect. Yeah. So the other great thing in all this is that, I mean, from a business, it's gotten traction. Yeah. You've got great things, but I mean, it's been received so well. Got investment. Give me those accolades. I mean, it just seems one after another.
Gosh. It feels like it, but being a startup founder, it feels like it's never enough. Right. Because you always have another person that you could be helping, another businesses that you're helping to save, another barbershop that you're helping to stay open. But yes, we have been blessed with
validation.
Validation from the marketplace. So we just won Google Demo Day, the first Texas startup to bring that back to the Lone Star State. We're super excited about that. Yes, thank you.
And up until Google Demo Day, we were just going into pitch competition after pitch competition and winning them, and we would just be amazed. Like, people really like us. They might not really like what we're doing. No, we were joking. No, but we really focused on bringing the market something that was coming to an industry that was so archaic that had never changed, and just creating something different. And knowing that my expertise and Courtney's expertise validated what we were doing, we knew how to talk about it and explain it to investors and even to judges what we were bringing to the marketplace.
Yeah, so Google Demo Day, L'Oreal, Women in Digital, Next Generation Award, Startup Grind, that's right. Capital Factory, Diversity and Inclusion Award. Gosh, what else? Fresh Labs, that's right. Fresh Labs, FreshBooks, Fidelity Labs, Reshape the World contest. I honestly can't rattle them off enough. And really, it's not just the two of us anymore. It's really a team effort. We have the best
from- the
team
one from
in the
Zoom?
world. Zoom. Oh, Zoom Info. Yeah, best B2B entrepreneur. Yeah. Yeah. Feels good. But it feels even better to get those phone calls from stylists every day. I swear, Jason, every day. People say, oh my gosh, thank you so much, ShearShare. Why weren't you around 2 years ago? Why weren't you around a decade ago? I wish you were around, 2 months before I had to close my salon. But we get phone calls from salon owners saying, thank you. You guys are literally supporting my business. Like, you're helping me to make sure my doors stay open.
And then after winning Google Demo Day, Steve Case from Rise of the Rest Fund came in and closed our round.
Yeah.
That lets people know that AOL, which has been around a long time, Steve Case, the founder, invested in us. That makes us even more legitimate.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah. So we were super excited. We don't take anything for granted. We're grateful people, but at the end of the day, we know it's work, and so we put in the work, we put in the grind, and it becomes a little bit easier, even when it's still hard.
But you always say too, babe, that you have to believe in yourself first.
That's
We always tell our son that. No matter what anyone else thinks, you have to believe it first, and then you'll see it happen.
That's the only way to make. That's the only way, because every message you put out, everything you come out, comes from this certainty that you have.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's the only way to make it happen.
And you hear so many no's when you're trying to fundraise as an entrepreneur. If that's a choice for some co-founders, you hear so many no's, and you have to go into every single meeting after meeting after meeting with the same passion, the same excitement, the same flair for what it is that you're trying to communicate,
I'm gonna keep saying still.
and still smiling. That's true. We believed it, so we're just waiting for everyone else to do the same
And
thing.
then sitting up in front of investors who have tons of money, respect to them, but you have to really bring it down to almost 7th to 8th grade level understanding for them to see it.
Because they don't know the industry.
They don't know the industry.
No, you gotta be extreme. So you have to talk about ShearShare, or we learned early on, you gotta talk about ShearShare in ways that they understand.
And sometimes they have limited time as well.
Yeah, that's true. So it's not just a beauty app, right? Like, we're so much more than that. So we talk about it in terms of marketplace, right? And the fact that the beauty industry is growing, and 5.5% of stylists or people are choosing to become stylists or licensed cosmetologists and barbers versus going into corporate America jobs. That's an increase that's going to happen year over year until 2020 at least. So more people are choosing to be independent. More people are choosing beauty and barbering as a mainstay, and we had to describe the growth and the potential of the market size in those terms.
And keep it and really take it from being manual. We wanted to give them a tool, and to have a tool like ShearShare. I mean, personally, I love it, and I'm the founder. I'm one of the founders, so I mean, I don't even know what people were doing before. They were going to Craigslist. They were. I mean, now with ShearShare, you don't have to go to Craigslist. You can actually market through ShearShare, and everything is done there. Before, you was marketing on Craigslist. Businesses calling your friends. Businesses have their cards and beauty
The bulletin
boards,
that still happens
school
today.
bulletin boards, and so all this stuff that you can do on ShearShare is a one-stop shop. You don't even have to worry about taking money by hand. How uneasy is that? Okay, well, you worked all day. Can I get my money? That's just uncomfortable.
So payments go through the
Everything.
app.
Yes.
Yep, go through the app, and then we send payment to the host 24 hours before the stylist even arrives.
So how easy is that? All you gotta do is unlock the door now.
Oh yeah. That's phenomenal. So what's next? How are you getting the word out now even more and just flooding the market?
Well, believe it or not, we had our first lunch and learn yesterday. Super amazing, a private event, full. We had a meetup after that created more synergy and brought in more people. Amazing time, thanks to what Courtney and I are doing together, and having people really work with us, and having our team now. We're a team of 10. So it's really a great opportunity now to get out there, market, spread the word, and just blast this thing as much as we can.
In a perfect world, Tye and I would meet with every ShearShare host and every stylist one-on-one. And I think we've done a pretty good job of hitting the masses. We know that's high-touch marketing. We know that it's something that's probably not going to be scalable in a couple of years, but it's our heart, right? Like, we hear from the stylists and the salon owners, gosh, Courtney and Tye, I'm so happy that you guys aren't two random engineers who were sitting in a garage who thought they came up with the next best thing. Like, I can look at you and I see myself in you. You are me and I am you.
And I don't mean to stop you, but we have to kind of do it face to face and a little bit more personal, because people still don't believe a platform like this exists.
Oh,
so it goes to show you how old the industry is, and how we really want to touch as many people as we can, so that they now can tell someone else. And we as a beauty industry, cosmetologists and barbers, because we call it hair, skin, nails, it's so much more community. There are a lot of shops out there, a lot of salons out there, and you would think, okay, it's competition amongst competition. It's really not. It's really a community, and we really want to help one another at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, and it's that face-to-face time. As much as you can do it, it's also just good business.
Oh my God!
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You're learning more.
Yes.
You're engaging more.
Yes.
You're connecting
Yes.
more.
We use it for so many different outlets. And in those moments, there's magic that really does happen when you connect with someone. And I'm looking at you face to face, and I'm shaking your hand. I'm listening to the problems that you're having as a salon owner, as a new stylist, and we're helping you to see all of the different variety of roads that you can choose. And it's not just about ShearShare, right? It's about what problems do you have? We can help you, because this man right here has got 25 years of experience in the industry that is not in a book, anywhere. And so he's probably been through 99% of what you're telling me that you're going through today.
All of it.
And all of it, that's right. And so they appreciate ShearShare for that. And then it becomes, oh, by the way, have you heard of this new app that'll help you save money by renting space by the day? And so in that moment, they become raving fans, and then they become this army of ShearShares that goes out there and spreads the word for us.
Yeah, and it's great because communication is key. Even though Courtney's not in the beauty industry, she speaks the language, so people would trust her because she understands them through just factored out just being married to me. So if you speak someone's language and they know you have sympathy and empathy and you care about them, because at the end of the day, what are you selling? You're selling care, service, and you're understanding that people need a service like this.
Almost 40% of people still come to ShearShare by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, but when you think about the industry ad nauseum, it's not unusual, because when you have a Superfly haircut and someone asks you, you're gonna say, like today.
Love it.
I was gonna say, like today, somebody's gonna ask you, "Hey, Jason, where'd you get your haircut?" And you're gonna share with them where you got your haircut. It's very normal in the beauty and barbering industry to speak word of mouth, helping someone find a new barber, a new stylist, a new massage therapist, etc. And so we're not surprised by that. But it takes a lot of work to get to that point to where people are comfortable and ready to share about ShearShare with someone else.
And it makes it easier too, because now we have customers saying, "Have you heard of this new app called ShearShare?" to their stylist or to their barber. So the consumers are seeing that
marketing for
are
us.
marketing
I
for
love
us.
that.
Yeah, I know. I actually asked my guy about it, like if he heard about it, and just doing the same kind of thing, right? Because I think the concept's just fantastic. He was like, oh wow, because I hadn't really, he's got one of those spots
Suites?
Inside a bigger,
In a suite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing they're gonna say is, "Wow, something like this really exists." So now he may essentially say, "Wow." It's like, "Hey, Jason, can you tell me about that app? I'm getting ready to go to Houston." So they know they're gonna use it eventually. We want to bring it to their attention and let them know we do exist.
And before you share with people about that, Jason, we want to make sure you sign up to be an influencer and get paid for referring people to ShearShare. So
I'm gonna go.
when we finish this ride, when we finish this ride, be sure to go to ShearShare.com/refer and sign up, because we'll pay you now $5 for each new host you bring us and $20 for each stylist that books.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Great.
So what's next for ShearShare?
Besides crazy growth and maintaining that,
Building a team, continue to build a team, continue to build more sales guys, get more foot soldiers on the ground. We just got a back end engineer, so we're building our engineering team and just consistently painting out the picture of what we want to do with the sprints for adding more stuff to ShearShare. And we're so excited about the stuff that we have now that's in place. I mean, we think that the community, they're going to love this app. It's going to be such a free flow to the way you think when you want to rent a space, and also to the way the salon owner thinks about you coming to them. So it's a two-pronged effect, but it's so efficient for both sides.
And when Tye built the app, we knew that we were starting at the very beginning of the stylist life cycle. So no matter what kind of tools they use or shampoo their client likes for them to use with their hair, they have to have a place to work. And so we figured if we hit that nail on the head, then we built that trust immediately, right? And so after that, we're building out this entire ecosystem. So ShearShare won't just be an app for finding space on demand. It's imagine being able to get products on demand and being able as a stylist to do retail sell through to your clients on demand. Yes, and even get insurance by the day. I mean, the world is our oyster, but we had to make sure that we fix this problem first. And in our relationship or our relationship with L'Oreal, our pilot program with them, we're working on so many different things. It's super exciting. Can't talk about all of them.
All of that.
Come on, you know you want to.
We do want to. We do. Believe me, and we could for hours. But being able to work alongside the largest beauty brand in the world has been so good, and those guys have been so supportive of ShearShare. They were our family. That came about because someone introduced us to L'Oreal about a year ago. Yeah, and they had a competition, the Women in Digital Next Generation competition. They put this on every year, and we get this random phone call from someone in the office there at L'Oreal, and they say, "Hey, ShearShare has come across my desk more than a couple of times now. I need to figure out what it is that you guys are doing."
Yeah.
And we had no idea. We don't know who put our name on the list.
Who is
I was like, getting a call from Oprah. You're like, I don't even believe this. I'm just gonna
There's
hang
been a
up.
couple of things. There's been a couple of things that we have actually won that we just thought was spam.
Yeah, we just didn't believe it. We're
We
like,
didn't
no
believe
way,
it.
no way, because the names are just too big. And so we started building that relationship with L'Oreal, had a chance to pitch to 550 of their executives during one of their digital expos there in New York, and everyone voted for ShearShare to be the winner. And then that opened up many, many doors, because we're sitting across from people who own the salon-centric business, and people who own the independent stylist business, and people who own this product, or events and marketing. And so it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, and again, it lets us know how relevant we are, because L'Oreal, the biggest brand in the world, has allowed us to be on their pilot program after winning the award. So the partnership is amazing, and plus it puts us in front of a lot of people. And there's a lot of brands under the L'Oreal brand. So just getting connected not only with the artists, but also with the email addresses and all the data that they have that can really help ShearShare rocket to the moon.
So what do you think it is? At the end of the day, I mean, you've got a great idea.
Yeah.
Lots of great ideas out there.
Right.
Good team.
Yeah.
Great team.
Fantastic.
Solid team.
A lot of good teams out there.
Yeah.
A lot of good teams out there.
But what is this momentum? I mean, this is something. This is big.
I think it's time. I think everything works in time, and believe it or not, we're actually in front of it. But time has made itself to where social media is big. People are communicating with all the social media apps: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Anchor. There's so many platforms now where the element of conversation person to person is now done through social media. And so it's time now for people to realize something like this exists. But I think people are now more personal with their own clientele, with being an artist in beauty and barbering and hair, skin, and nails. They have their own clients. So going into a commission-based salon, now you probably can be there for at least, I'm going to say, a year or two. Build your clientele up, and most of them are going to leave because clients are connected to the person.
Yes.
They're not connected to the salon anymore. Hence why there are so many salon suites out there. So when you go into a salon suite concept, it's just a bunch of rooms. So people know exactly where they want to go to. That's social media within itself manually.
Yeah.
So now you can actually utilize that over a social media platform like IG. And here you go with the perfect storm where people say, hey, you know what? This is who I am. Regardless of where they're at, this is who I am. You can come to me.
And I would too say, like, my husband will never give himself that much credit. So yes, timing of the market is key. That is true. Even speaking with Joe Gebbia, he doesn't even credit Airbnb with creating the sharing economy, and we consider those guys the godfathers of the sharing economy. He credits eBay. We credit Airbnb because now when we connect with someone, they say. Yeah, definitely. They say, well, what is ShearShare? The easiest way for us to explain it is that we're Hairbnb. And they're like, oh my gosh, that totally makes sense. But honestly, I say it's the visionary. If we didn't have Tye sitting at the helm, like, I don't know what we do.
But there's also being able to convey it You can have the vision.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for him to be having that visionary who understands the way the stylists think. He sits on both sides of the marketplace that we serve, right? He's a master barber. He's also an award-winning salon owner. So he totally gets the connection points, and he speaks the language on both sides. And so they trust him when they see him. They trust ShearShare when they see us.
And it's all about trust. I think, and I give God credit for allowing me to be in such an amazing industry. Loving what I do. You have to love what you do in order to see these things come about. So just the timing of it, caring about the people, speaking the language. Social media's done a great job. But I think that, and I add this to Courtney, she's the other side of the brain, my left brain, to help me understand what we can convey, how we can convey it, and also how we can market it. But having that team, the trickle down effect, because everything starts from the top, giving that information and education to the team so that they can go out there now and educate as well for us. And now we have another army of people, of consumers, which is the customers, along with the artists who now understand what we do. And I think conveying it the right way and giving them an opportunity to know that something like this again exists makes it so much easier. So, I mean, the world is our oyster. I mean, we just getting warmed up this thing. It's like the first workout. You like that's the warm up. No, it's just the warm up right now.
Yep.
How do we follow along? How do we follow this journey? Like, I want people to know how to get the app, how to engage there, but also follow along with your entrepreneurial journey.
Exactly.
Well, you can find us we're ShearShare everywhere, right? We're the only company that has this name. But usually on Instagram, you'll see some backstory stuff about Tye and me. So you'll see a little bit about our family dynamics, our marriage dynamics, how we work with our team members, meetings that we may have. It's always kind of fun to see that on IGTV. And then Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and even Anchor on the podcast. We have, we're ShearShare everywhere.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being on.
No, thank you for having us again.
Great. We're going to figure out where we are, because I have no idea.
I do.
Okay, good.
I know we're in Plano.
Tye's going to get us home.
Thank you, guys.
If you're in the Dallas area, let's connect in person. I'm at the Coffee House Cafe on Preston and Frankfurt every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., hosting an awesome meetup where we talk business, startups, and tech. It's an amazing room of people to network with, and most weeks what we do is we dig in and mastermind for the folks in the room and connect everyone to the resources they need to grow. I'll see you there. Thanks so much to Tye and Courtney for being on, and for you to follow along with us here, and certainly dig in and follow along with their journey. You're going to be hearing a lot more from them. Just an amazing amount of success has come their way, and I'm just ecstatic for them. They're amazing people, and just putting in the work as well. And it's so awesome to see all these things come together of just an amazing idea, incredible work ethic, and then just awesome people, doing good things. It's just fantastic. So I was honored to be able to interview them at New Tech, and now to have them on the show is just wonderful, and helping share that story a little bit more. And if you want new ways to share your own story, through video, through podcasting, all that, make sure you hit me up. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's see how I can help. Head over to croft.media and reach out. Let's set up a strategy session for you. And there's so much you can do to get your message out in the world even more. If you like episodes like this, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube, and hit us up on Spotify. If you're listening right now, subscribe there, follow along with us, and we'll see you on the next one.
It's Saturday night. It was Saturday night and I'm feeling kinda silly. Winter coat on cause the air was chilly, but I'ma make my way out to the record spot. Gotta find some new breaks for the beats to rock. I gotta come with the flavor like some lifesavers. On now and late is Dr. Beatmaker. If I'm a player, it's like your tape deck. And if you miss the gig, then take a rain check. Stacks of wax piled high to the ceiling, need a U-Haul truck if I would think of